Hello everybody and welcome to HDpiano. My name is Dan, and in this lesson I'll show you how to play Whole Lotta Shakin Goin On by the killer Jerry Lee Lewis. We'll start with the main progression in this first of 3 videos. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, and... Alright, we've got a 12-bar blues here. The rest of this lesson, including the solos and the fills and a whole song performance, all at HDpiano.com if you haven't found your way there yet. Alright, so this is a really simple accompaniment, right? We have a 12-bar blues with just a few simple chord shapes, and so we're going to talk through all the basic elements, but I'm going to do a really deep dive into the performance style that Jerry Lee Lewis brought to the piano and why it was so revolutionary and different. And so over the next 5 to 10 minutes, we're going to sort of move through that. We'll start with the simple stuff, and then we'll move to the more nuanced stuff, talk about why this was so special. Middle C is here. We are in the key of C major. And let's look at our basic chord shapes to start. C major right here. C in the left, E, G, C in the right. This is the fingering I would recommend. The next chord is F. F in the left, F, A, C in the right. And we return to C. From there, we have G7, G in the left, G, B, D, F in the right. Jump down to the F chord, previously mentioned, and then finish with the C chord, previously mentioned. And since this is a 12-bar blues, it follows that basic formula and format, and that is 4 measures on the C chord, 2 measures on the F chord, 2 measures on the C chord, 1 measure each on G7, F, and then 2 measures on C. Okay, so the left hand is doing this sort of boogie-woogie bass, and it's actually hard to determine. It's hard to hear exactly what Jerry Lee's playing here. So this is what we've settled on. Okay, so the basic blueprint for that is 1, 3, or the middle note of the chord, and then a power chord, 1 and 5, and then from there, we're just shifting that thumb up to the 6th. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2. Do that again, 1, 2. This time, we're going to walk up D, D sharp, E, that leads us to F, where we can play that same pattern. F, A, power, 6th, power, 6th, power, 6th. And back down to C, same pattern. And if you guessed same pattern over G, you are correct. Just a quick one there. And then F, quick one there. And then okay, so there's, I guess, again, this is really hard to hear in all the recordings, frankly. I was unable to find a recording that really afforded me the ability to dissect this any further than what we've got here, but there's a chance he's also going... There's a chance he's playing the C with the E here. It's kind of muddy, so it would have to be voiced properly so that the E rings louder than the C. Anyway, there's options here. You can also just get by just by playing this. Okay, so that's another option, but I'm gonna stick with the 1, 3, power, 6th. Okay. All right, let's pull the right hand into the mix. Right hand is just playing on offbeats. Offbeats are not 1, 2, 3, 4. It's everything in between. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now you can see how the hands work together. The right hand is definitely challenging if you haven't done any syncopating. You know, if you're just doing a lot of 1, 2, 3, 4. Playing on offbeats is going to be a challenge. It's kind of a new skill to learn. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to have to think of the hands as working together, right? Dun da 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 dun. So let's try it slowly. And although I don't personally find it really helpful to play this specific style too slow, because I think it often loses its context, and it's hard to, it's just hard to translate to a slower speed. But let's do it anyway for the sake of giving it to you. So here we go. 2 and ready and play. Okay, if you're able to play that, you are now playing a slow blues, a slow C blues. So good work. But we're not here to learn a slow C blues, are we? We're here to learn the Killer's Whole Lotta Shakin' Going On. So I'm going to, for the next few minutes, talk about why this is such a complex part when it seems so simple, right? It's just a 12-bar blues. You know, there are literally hundreds of thousands of songs out there in this format. Why is this one so unique? Okay. Well, it was released in 1957, all right, and that was a time when we were changing, we were making a big change into rock and roll. You had the likes of, Elvis, Chuck Berry, really disrupting music, and so here's where we're coming from, right? So that was just kind of a little swanky blues. That's a swing sound, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Right? It's got that classic feel. Now, rock and roll. How does that feel different? Okay, well, here's that same blues progression, but with a rock feel. 2 and ready and play. All right, you feel the difference, right? That's a lot more straight ahead on the beat, rather than Okay, so that is swung versus straight, and we have the context here of, you know, coming from jazz and blues and like really, really early rock and roll to now we're making our way into like true rock and roll. So Jerry Lee Lewis, he was almost like the stepping stone, like the literal stepping stone musically between, you know, blues and rock and roll, because he's not playing either. All right, that's what makes this so hard. He's not playing straight, he's not playing swung, and depending on, you know, who the band is, how he's feeling, he might play completely differently than the night before. I watched a lot of live recordings, so if you hear the record, it sounds a lot more swung, and that's also because there's a slap back delay happening on the piano part and on his voice. So, but it sounds like this on the recording. Right? And I played it a little faster, but that's a hard swing, right? We're swinging there. Now go to some live recordings, and he's playing it like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Baby, whole lot of shaking going on. Ooh, oh, baby. Da, 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 by the horn. Ooh, oh, baby. Right, that is straight eighths, okay? So he would even play it, a lot of times, he would even play it both feels within the same performance, okay? And I've got this quote that I wanted to share with you that I thought was perfect for this song. It's from his drummer. He says, we were rehearsing with the group one night, and I said, I wonder if we could get that swing shuffle pattern going with a backbeat and see what we come up with. And that's where it came from. He said when Jerry Lee came in, that was the rhythm he played. And a lot of people try to copy Jerry Lee Lewis's sound, but they'll never copy it because they're trying to play a straight 4/4 beat when in fact it's a shuffle with a backbeat. That's the whole rhythm. Okay, that's a quote from his drummer. Here's another quote while I'm digging into the research here. So this was also this style of the era. Okay, you're playing a shuffle against, for example, like Chuck Berry had this straight eighth strumming pattern, like in Johnny Be Good, but the drummer was playing a shuffle. So you have this crazy. I mean, you won't hear it again. It just really doesn't work. It's crazy that it did work, but you get the result is this unusual in between feel that has also come to be associated with 50s rock, and you can be heard on the likes of Elvis's Jailhouse Rock and. Well, here we are, Jerry Lee Lewis's Whole Lot of Shakin' Going On. So this is a really, really unique style. I realize I'm doing quite a bit of talking here, but it's such a simple part. I feel like this just deserves just verbal explanation for why it is so special. Here's one other thing that I wanted to share with you, and this is from the movie Great Balls of Fire. So, of course, this is a dramatization, but Sam Phillips, record producer, was quoted in the movie as saying, you take a white right hand and a black left hand, and what have you got? Rock and roll. So I think that perfectly exemplifies, and you know, that's it, right? I mean, of course, maybe that's not the most politically correct way to say it, but we are hybridizing black blues music, and we're taking the influence from other white musicians, and this is what we get. All right, this is cultural hybridization and appropriation. So anyway, that's a lot of talking. I'm actually going to hit my metronome, and we're just going to play this a couple times, okay? Here we go. 1, 2, and remember, all the solos are all going to be at HDpiano.com, so we're going to walk through a lot of that. Here we go. 1, 2, and 1, 2, ready, and... Again. Let's do a perfectly straight version. Now, hard swing feel. Now, in between. All right, I'm going to leave it at that right now. I'll see you over there, HDpiano.com for the rest, where we'll talk through the solos and fills, and we'll play it all. If you're on social media, find us at HDpiano. Say hello. Send your song ideas to requests.hdpiano.com. Love hearing from you guys on that front. And yeah, I'm Dan. Can't wait to show you some more. Whole lot of shaking going on. I'll see you there, HDpiano.com, the home of the hybrid piano lesson.